whether Mr. Epstein maintained like a list of people, like a book of famous people that he knew, it's called a black book or a client list or a list. Did you know of the existence of any such list?
There is no list. We'll start with that.
To be short, there is no list, there's no client list, nothing like that.
No, there's nothing.
That is Ghislaine Maxwell telling the Trump Justice Department on July 24th that there is no Epstein client list. And that's not all she said. She talked about President Trump, former President Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Prince Andrew, and even the death of Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm going to share those clips with you in this video. Yes, this is a long video, but there are lots of clips from Maxwell included, so I hope you're sitting down. And before I get to those clips, you need to know that today the Department of Justice released the full transcript and audio recordings from the interview Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, President Trump's former personal lawyer, did with the convicted sex offender Ghislaine Maxwell over 2 days in Florida a few weeks ago. There are redactions in both the transcript and the audio files to protect the names of victims. And there are other names of other people who were in the orbit of Jeffrey Epstein that are also included, but there's really nothing new there. We've heard these names before. I also want to make it very clear that Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of serious crimes. She is a known liar and perjurer. She was sentenced to decades in prison, and it is no secret that she wants to get out. She wants a pardon from President Trump. Now, I read all of the transcripts and listened to those audio files, and I also want you to know that throughout these interviews, Maxwell pulled the I don't recall or I don't remember card quite a bit. In fact, more than 100 times. And she really tried to paint herself as sort of an innocent bystander in all of Epstein's crimes. She took no responsibility for anything. The facts are the Epstein victims are real, and they say she absolutely played a role in their abuse. That said, I am going to play some of the key moments from these interviews in no particular order, but you really need to be critical of what she's saying as you listen. So let's start with Maxwell's thoughts on the death of Jeffrey Epstein. She says she doesn't believe the story we're being told.
So you think he did not die by suicide, given all the things we just talked about?
I do not believe he died by suicide, no.
And do you believe that, do you have any speculation or view of who killed him?
No, I don't.
She talked a lot about Epstein's behavior over the years and how it changed, and she said she never suspected anything was going on until he was charged in Florida.
In the entire time I was with him or friends with him or had anyone, no one ever reported to me or came to me and said that anything inappropriate happened or was upset by it. I never saw tears. I never saw ever any of that.
And when you say no one ever reported to me, meaning like the masseuses or
Never.
any of the house staff?
Never.
Or the clients?
Or the clients themselves?
Never. I just want to say for the record that I do believe that Epstein did a lot of, not all, but some of what he's accused of. And I'm not here to defend him in any respect whatsoever. I don't want to. And I don't think he requires, nor deserves, any type of protection or for me in any way to sugarcoat what he did or didn't do. However, the man I met and the man he became, I believe that there is a progression. And I don't think that the man I met is the man that he became.
But what about President Trump? We know he and Epstein were friends for years. Maxwell says she knew him, and she never saw Trump behaving inappropriately.
Did you ever observe President Trump receive a massage?
Never.
There's photographs, public photographs of Mr. Epstein and President Trump together.
Yes.
And there's photographs of, I think you're in some of the photographs
Yes.
as well. Those all appear to be social settings.
Yes. That's my memory. If there were social settings, I don't know Epstein's. If he had, whatever the nature of the president's friendship, if you will, or however you want to define that with Epstein, I was never witness. I think they were friendly, like people are in social settings. I don't think they were close friends, or I certainly never witnessed the president in any of, I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
She also made it clear that she admires the man who is now President of the United States.
President Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me, and I just want to say that I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president now, and I like him, and I've always liked him.
While she remembers a lot about her time with President Trump, she doesn't remember much about that infamous book for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, filled with famous names and notes, including an alleged inappropriate note from now President Trump.
Do you remember one way or the other whether President Trump submitted a letter for his 50th birthday?
I do not remember.
And the article that references the letter talks about sounds like either a picture of a naked woman or something like that. Do you have any recollection of that?
I do not.
Todd Blanche took a lot of time to ask a lot of questions about the Clintons and Epstein, both former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Maxwell said Hillary Clinton didn't have any relationship at all with Jeffrey Epstein, and she said former President Bill Clinton never engaged in anything inappropriate, nor did he ever even go to Epstein's infamous island.
Do you know whether, for example, President Clinton ever received a massage?
I don't believe he did.
And what makes you say you don't believe he did?
The time that Epstein and President Clinton spent together, the only times I believe, well, obviously they traveled. There was that, they claim they went on the plane 26 times or whatever. That would be one journey. So they spent time on the plane together, and I don't believe there was ever a massage on the plane. So that would have been the only time that I think that President Clinton could have even received a massage, and he didn't, because I was there.
You're not aware of President Clinton ever going to the island?
He absolutely never went, and I can be sure of that, because there's no way he would have gone. I don't believe there's any way that he would have gone to the island had I not been there, because I don't believe he had an independent friendship, if you will, with Epstein.
She also discussed her relationship with Prince Andrew and completely denied the allegation that he had a sexual relationship with an Epstein victim.
I think it's absolute rubbish is that Prince Andrew, the idea of him doing anything of that nature in my house that's the size of this room is so mind-blowingly not conceivable to me as the man, or what I can't even know.
Is there any way that it could have happened?
No.
Okay.
Now, if you want to listen to these audio tapes or if you want to read these transcripts for yourself, I'm going to email them all out to you in my Facts HQ email tonight, so make sure you sign yourself up.